Hello children, how are you all? I am fine here and I expect the same from you. I am Dakshayani, handling biology from Bardasnar Metric Higher Secondary School, Arakonam. Children, today we are going to discuss chapter 2, Plant Kingdom in 11th standard Botany. So, let us recap what happened in the previous session. So, in the previous session we have discussed about the algae. Now, let me ask you some questions regarding this, right? What is the study of algae called, children? Yes. What is the study? Yes, algology. The study of algae is called as algology, or it is also known as a phycology. Yes, very good. Arvind, I will ask you some more question. Who is the father of Indian phycology? Yes, very good. M.O. Parthasarathi. M.O. Parthasarathi. He is the father of Indian phycology. Father of Indian phycology. Yes, very good. Yes, next, Harini, just answer my question. What is the common name for red algae? Red algae, we say it as Rhodophyceae. Yes, very good. Rhodophyceae. What is the common name for green algae? Chlorophyceae. Chlorophyceae. And how the brown algae is called? Brown algae is called Phaeophyceae. Phaeophyceae, because Phyceae refers to algae and this rhodo refers to the red. Yes, in our eyes rod cells are there, rhodopsin pigment, red. Next, chloro, green. Phaeophyceae is brown. So, these are all the topics we discussed in the previous sessions, right? Next, we are going to study about the bryophytes, right? In this session, we are going to study about the bryophytes. What do you mean by bryophytes? Bryophytes, the term bryo refers to amphibians. Bryo means amphibians. Phytes refers to plants. Phytes refers to plants. So, from here one neat question is asked, children, which group of plants are called as the amphibians of plant kingdom? Bryophytes, right? And now let us see why they are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. So, the first bryophytes, so this is the image of the bryophytes. It is a Rixia, right? And it is called as non-vascular cryptogams. What do you mean by non-vascular? Yes, no vascular tissues are present. What are all the vascular tissues? Yes, xylem and phloem. Xylem responsible for the transport of water and phloem is responsible for transport of food, right? So, both the blood vessels are absent. So, we say since they do not have the vascular tissues, we say the bryophytes as non-vascular cryptogams. Next, why the amphibians of the plant kingdom? Why the bryophytes are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom? Mostly all the bryophytes are land living, right? Land living means we say them as terrestrial, right? But they spend most of the time, they grow on the land. But at the time of fertilization, they require water. So, what is required? Water is required at the time of fertilization. So, fertilization. So, this requires both land as well as water for its survival. Hence, they are called as bryophytes are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. From this, they may ask 2 more questions, children. Bryophytes are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. Justify your answer. So, you have to give the correct explanation, that is, they are found on the land, but at the time of fertilization, they need water, they depend on water. So, they are both terrestrial as well as aquatic, like frog in zoology, amphibians. Likewise, in plant kingdom, the amphibians are bryophytes. And now, we are going to study who is the father of bryology. First, what is bryology? First, what is bryology? What is bryology? Study of bryophytes. Study of bryophytes. Study of bryophytes we call as bryology. And who is the father of bryology? Yes, Hedwig. Just it is not in your book, children, just underline it. Who is the father of bryology? Person called Hedwig. Hedwig. Who is the father of Indian bryology? Who is the father of Indian bryology? Indian bryology, the father is Shivram Kashyap. Shivram Kashyap. In short, they will say it as, he will be called as S.R. Kashyap. So, who is the father of Indian bryology? Shivram Kashyap. So, from this one more questions will be asked, children. What is the study of bryophytes? Bryology. Who is the father of bryology? Hedwig. Who is the father of Indian bryology? Shivram Kashyap. And in his famous book, why he was called as a father of Indian bryology? He wrote a famous book, just underline this in your book, The Liverworts of Western Himalayas and Punjab Plains. In his book, he discovered the various genera of bryophytes. He discovered various genera. He discovered more species of bryophytes. Hence, he is in the India. Hence, he was called as a father of Indian bryology. So, now we learn who is the father of bryology, what is biology, and why he is called as a father of bryology. Now, let us go into the general characteristic features of the bryophytes, right? Mostly I told you majority of the bryophytes are land dwelling plants, but some are aquatic, right? Aquatic means what? They require water. They require water for their survival. So, the example is Rhiella and Rhixiocarpus. So, this is the image of the Rhixiocarpus plant, children. It is found in the water bodies. So, covering the water body, this Rhixiocarpus plant is found. And majority, we studied about the life cycle patterns, like some are sporophytic, some are gametophytic, some exhibit both the phases. Here, this bryophyte exhibit both the phases, but gametophyte is dominant. Gametophytic phase is dominant. And so, plant body is a gametophyte, right? And now we are going to see the study of the structure of the bryophyte. Just imagine this is a Rhixia, it is a thallus of Rhixia, and what is the color of it? Yes, it is green. Right, the Rhixia thallus, this is a thallus. And now it possesses, they are all leaf-like, stem-like structures, but no true roots and true stems are present in the bryophytes. So, this is a thallus and it bears some stem-like processes which give rays at the time of reproduction, right? And they possess the small root like structure called as rhizoids. What is this, children? It is a rhizoids. Rhizoids. What is the use of rhizoids? Rhizoids helps in the attachment of the bryophytes to the substratum. Either it may be a rock or it may be a plant, right? It helps in attachment. So rhizoids are the roots of the bryophytes. And these rhizoids are two types. One is pegged. One is pegged. And another one is smooth. Just look into this, children. Some rhizoids are smooth, right? They do not have any walls around it. Some are very smooth, but some are pegged. Just look into this. It is pegged, pitted in the middle. So it is said to be pegged. So what are the two types of rhizoids? One is pegged and another one is a smooth. So we discussed about the rhizoids and the types of rhizoids. And now we are going to see about the mosses. Mosses or leaf-like structures. We generally say mosses as a green carpet. Green carpet, and mostly they are found in the shady regions where water is abundant, in the aquatic only. So the mosses, just look into this picture, children. It's like a forest covered by a green carpet. So they bear a small stem, some plants are arid but they are very minute. Next we are going to study about the reproduction, in that the vegetative reproduction. First, the plant name Riccia fluitans. This is the image of the Riccia fluitans, children. So Riccia fluitans. Riccia fluitans. They reproduce by means of producing adventitious buds. They reproduce by producing buds. Just underline in your book. They will ask for a one more question, children. And next, it is a plant called Anthoceros. What is this type? What's the name of the plant? Anthoceros. And you can see small yellowish structure arising from it, children. It is the tuber. It is a tuber. So the Anthoceros reproduce by means of producing the tubers, and Riccia fluitans, they reproduce by producing the buds. Next, let's just look into this image sharply, children. It is a Marchantia. It is a thallus of Marchantia, and here you can see small cup-shaped structures, right? So cup-shaped structures, these cup-shaped structures are called as gemma. So Marchantia reproduces by means of producing gemma cups. Gemma cup, just underline in your book. And the another method, it is not given in your book, the another method of the vegetative reproduction is fragmentation. Fragmentation. The bryophytes also reproduce by means of producing fragments. So fragmentation. So far we have discussed about the vegetative reproduction, budding, buds in Riccia, and then tubers in Anthoceros, Marchantia, what is formed? Gemma cups, and fragmentation in Riccia. And next we are going to study, so far we discussed about the vegetative reproduction, and now we are going to discuss about the sexual reproduction. During the favorable condition, the prothallus, right, the Riccia, the thallus, this is a green circle, this green shaped structure is a thallus. They produce the gametes, that is, they form the antheridium. The male gamete we call as antheridium. Antheridium. And the female gamete we call it as, the female structures we call it as archegonium. Archegonium, right? And we discussed already the, for reproduction, for fertilization, these bryophytes require water. So what happens? This antheridium liberates is antheridium gets mature, the male gamete, the male structure, reproductive organ develops and produces the structure called antherozoids. What is the structure formed? Antherozoids. Just underline it, children. Antherozoids. These antherozoids swims in water. For example, if this is a water, just imagine it's in the water medium, and this antherozoids swim in water, and when it reaches the archegonium and it reaches the female and the fertilization takes place. So, the male gamete and the female gamete fuses together to form a zygote. Zygote, right? The zygote, it is a what? Sporophytic phase of the bryophytes. So, now we are going to study about the sporophyte. Sporophyte of the bryophyte. Just look into this picture, children. So, here it is a gametophyte. This basal portion is it is a gametophytic phase and this one is a sporophytic phase. Thus, we can say the life pattern is diplontic, that is haplodiplontic. Both it undergoes gametophytic phase as well as the sporophytic phase, haplodiplontic. And it consists of three structures. One is capsule. This structure, spores bearing structure, we call it as a capsule, and the stalk we call it as a setae. Stalk we call it as a setae and the base we call it as a foot. So, what are the three structures? Capsule, setae and the foot. Capsule produce the spores, and the spores of bryophytes are homosporous. What do you mean by homosporous? All the spores are similar. Opposite of homosporous is heterosporous. So, here all the spores are similar in shape and size, structure. So, they are said to be homosporous. And the stalk is a setae and the foot is connected to the gametophyte, and all the nutrients are absorbed by the gametophyte and it is supplied to the spores by means of this foot. So, the foot plays a main role in supplying the nutrients. So, this is about the sporophytic phase. And now we are going to see about the classification of the bryophytes. A person named Proskauer. What is the name of the person, children? Proskauer, right? He classified the bryophytes into three categories. One is Hepaticopsida, Anthoceratopsida and Bryopsida. Why it is called as Hepaticopsida? The plants, the bryophytes under this Hepaticopsida resemble the liver. Liver we say hepatic cells, right? So, hepatic resembles the liver, hence they are called as Hepaticopsida. The examples of Hepaticopsida are Riccia, just underline in your book, children, Riccia and Marchantia. Riccia and Marchantia. Anthoceratopsida, already we studied the examples, Anthoceros. So, the examples which reproduce by producing tubers, yes, very good, Anthoceros and Dendroceros. These two are the examples of Anthoceratopsida, and the last category Bryopsida, two examples, one is Funaria and Sphagnum. Funaria and Sphagnum. So, these are all the classification. It is a 3-mark question, children. And now we are going to study the last about the economic importance. What is the use of bryophytes? How it is useful in our day-to-day life, right? And you may ask, children, why should I know about this bryophytes, right? By knowing this, if you become a horticulturist in future, you must know about this bryophytes. So, first is the sphagnum. This is the image of the sphagnum, children. When it is fresh, it is edible as a food. It is rich in nutrients. so it is edible as a food. But when the sphagnum is died, when it is dead, the particles, the sphagnum is compressed and they become a structure called peat. What is the structure? Peat. This peat is useful in many ways, children. In the European countries, this peat they compress and use it as a fuel for burning. Fuel. And this peat, it underline an important point, children, it has a more water holding capacity, more water, that is more water holding capacity. So they can be used as a biofertilizers also, biofertilizers. So it is used in horticulture field, yes, due to its, and it is rich in nitrates. So it can be used as a fertilizer also. So the main economic importance of sphagnum is it is used as a food, it is used as a fuel, and it is used as a biofertilizer. The next is that Marchantia polymorpha. This is the image of Marchantia plant. Important one mark, just underline, children. It is used in the treatment of pulmonary tuberculosis. Pulmonary tuberculosis, TB we say in short. So it is used to treat pulmonary tuberculosis. So these are all the questions given at the back of in the study material, children. Just go through it related to the topic, and some neat questions are also included in it. Go through the topic well. So children, with this session comes to an end. So far, what all the things we discussed? We discussed about bryophytes, why they are called as amphibians, who is the father of bryology, and what are all the characteristic features of the bryophytes, and later we discussed about the economic importance of the bryophytes and how it is useful to a horticulture. Horticulture means thotakalai, right? So go through the topic well, children. We have attached the study material, assessment and question bank for this lesson in the description. Go through it and practice well. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.